What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about what's going on with Tesla SPY and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down some very important levels to be watching for the market going into next week, as we have very important data coming out, not to mention new catalysts. But before I break down the devil's information, before I get into any more details and talk about Tesla, let me just mention a few things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening. Looking at Tesla, we're forming a very, very nice looking cup-like structure right here. We saw Tesla rally all the way up to about 253 a share during the pre-market session. So we did actually end up testing that level, only to start rejecting a bit. And I mentioned to everyone that this 250 area is going to be an area of interest that Tesla is going to be like shuffling around here for quite some time. That's very close to what happened. We saw Tesla dip all the way down to 242, get bought back up, hits 250, come back down, and back up to 250 again. So back and forth pretty much all day around that 250 range. And then we ended up closing just above it. So that's a very, very good sign. As long as we hold some very, very key levels, we could actually continue to go higher for Tesla. I think Tesla's still bullish for the medium term nonetheless. For the short term, there is more upside potential. We'll have to see how well we hold around this area, as it's known to kind of consolidate here. But overall, it's still holding up well. So I will talk more about this, why Tesla's still bullish and such, a little bit later. I first want to talk about some very important data. As a reminder, we have a lot of stuff coming out for next week. Okay, for Monday, we have some consumer inflationary expectations data. It's very, very minor, but then starting Tuesday, everything becomes more serious. Firstly, on Tuesday, we have Jerome Powell giving a testimony. When he gives it, he could say things and kind of like mention things about the markets. He could be mentioning things about what's going on with inflation and such, and how the Fed's policies are looking, and also a bunch of other things. So we'll see what this leads to. Jerome Powell is once again a very, very important figure who has a big effect on volatility in the markets. And then for Wednesday, we have Jerome Powell giving another speech. What he says will also cause a lot of volatility, so it's going to be very important. I can't wait to see what that leads to. So we're going to be listening to what he has to say. And once again, this could affect the markets again. So I can't wait to see what that causes. He's known for being a big market maker, so that's going to be important for Wednesday. For Thursday, we have CPI data coming out, not to mention PPI data on Friday. There's also something else that's very big on Friday that's coming out. We have a very, very important earnings calendar that's now starting. So Monday doesn't really have much. We have very, very minor earnings for Monday and Tuesday. Wednesdays when we have like WD-40 and a few others like Manchester United, but once again, nothing too insane. Thursday and Fridays when things become more serious because we have like Delta and PepsiCo Thursday morning, so a little bit more significant. And then Fridays when we got the very, very significant earnings. Starting on Friday, we have big earnings coming out for the banks. We have JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, and a bunch of others. This is going to lead to a lot of volatility, so I can't wait to see what happens on Friday. Moving forward, I just want to mention that the fear and greed index is currently at neutral, once again in the middle. We are getting a little closer to the greedy side, so we're seeing buyers defending. Momentum is still extremely greedy as we're holding above our moving averages very, very well. The puts and call option positioning is once again at extreme greed, so that's once again holding up the markets because we're starting to see a lot more buyers who are still defending. And then we, then we also have the VIX undervalued, kind of lackluster right now. It's not really doing much or making much of a move so far. So for Tesla, what's going on? We had this big news that came out that Tesla's vehicles have become approved, as the Chinese government is now once again approving them in a big region to be used as governmental vehicles. That's actually some very, very good news for Tesla. It's one of the first time that a foreign owned automaker is in this position, so this will help bring up sales in at least for Tesla. I personally like to just stay away from politics and geopolitical issues or anything like that. I know that is something that people are going to talk about. Completely understandable. I'm not going to stop you or change your opinions in any way, shape, or form. I just want to say that I want to kind of not mention that. I just want to say that from a technical standpoint and fundamentally, this is technically bullish for Tesla because this could open doors for other countries and maybe even other parts of China to once again continue to do the same thing. This will help boost sales for Tesla, help drive in more and more growth, and it's going to be very important. So that's something I just want to call out. As far as Tesla goes, don't forget that TD Cowen gave them a hold rating. We have others out there like Canaccord Genuity. They're basically giving them a buy rating. Then we have Wedbush, which is giving them an outperform rating, saying that they're going to outperform relative to the market. So that's actually very, very bullish, at least for us. We're seeing a lot of nice analysts. The price-price ratio is going up. Tesla's building a lot of strength right here compared to the markets, still outperforming. And Mondays are known for being very strong days for Tesla. We're going to be watching to see how we look. We're forming a nice cup so far, so it does have a lot of potential. Volume is still at 154 million. There's still a lot of buyers stepping in, a lot of volatility. So Tesla's looking pretty good. This is forming kind of like a cup-like structure. On the 30 minutes time frame, we're going to be looking at 249.7, basically the 250 area. Once again, very close to the level we called out earlier. If we hold this, we'll be looking for like a cup and handle and a nice break from here until somebody continue to push all the way up to about 253. Break, then I'll be looking at these next levels. We actually have them marked right here. If we break past 253, I'll be looking at 255, then 258. There is potential for Tesla to form a cup and handle. But if we fail and we end up losing 248, then Tesla could retest these lows at 245, eventually 242. I will turn a little bit more concerned if we lose 242, if there's some kind of bad catalyst, but that's looking less probable because the buyers are still defending Tesla. We dipped down, buyers came back and pushed it up. So if that does happen again on Monday, we could see this thing continue to push. We might see a little dip in a bounce. So this could be from like a cup and handle. I think that Tesla's still bullish overall, and we could be looking for the mid 250s very, very soon. As far as SPY goes, we're very bullish because we're still breaking all-time highs. We're still at the all-time highs testing 555. Now the question becomes, is 555 going to be a tough resistance? Because we did actually see a 1-point retracement off of that. If this is a tough resistance, we could see SPY retrace a bit then try to bounce. We'll have to see if we could try to hold this previous support, which is now going to be 553.75. If we lose it, I think that these two levels right here are going to be areas of interest. So see how we have this big blue line right here? This is our previous breakout area at 550. If SPY ends up losing 553.75, I'll be looking at 552, and then 550 is a critical support, which it might actually bounce off of if we do end up dipping there. So look for a big test next week at this 555 area. If we do continue to reject, we might dip a little lower. So I think we might dip a little bit lower, but we'll see if we hold like around this 552 area and then bounce, or if we go all the way down to about 515 then bounce. This depends on a lot of different factors. I don't solely trade based off like Fibonacci retracements. There's a lot of other factors that affect how we move, but overall it's still looking more bullish. Now, if we were to do the opposite, if we don't even get much of a retracement, we just break through 555, then we remain bullish and 556 is coming, 557.5, and eventually 560. So SPY is bullish. Whether we dip a bit and then start pushing, or if we just push from here, we look bullish. Nonetheless, I do think there might be a little dip from here, but then we'll have to see how things end up moving forward from here. For others out there, we have Nvda. Nvda is once again kind of just trading in a nice little range. If we end up losing 125, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 121.6. If we hold this, we could try to rebound. So we'll have to see how things go. Overall, it's still kind of consolidating, but I do see a little bit of a dip that's coming. Now I just want to make it very clear that with this little dip, I think that 121 is going to be in the next very important level. And I think that there is going to be a risk of it coming down just a little bit. I think we're going to be testing at least 124. If that fails us, then 121 could be coming, but we should be bouncing off one of those levels. So we'll just have to see how things go. But look for a little dip, and then we'll see what the reaction happens to be. For Bitcoin's kind of dipping a little bit. I think that on the 4-hour, Bitcoin's actually trying to bounce right now. We're actually testing the previous support, which is now resistance, very close to about 56,600. If we break through this, I'll be looking for basically 58,000. So we might get a little bounce on Bitcoin, and we'll see if we reject or not. I'll be watching for that. I'll just go over a few more. I know the weekend is coming up. The QQQ, our breakout area is very close to this 488 area, which is where we have the blue line. If we break out higher, I'll be looking for us to essentially reach 498. If we reject off 496, watch 494 is critical support. Lose that, there's going to be a bigger dip to the lower 490s. So we'll just have to see how things go. We're in a very, very critical place, and we just have to be very, very patient with this nice little breakout. My gut tells me it's going to retrace just a little bit. I'll see where we try to bounce off of. We could be retesting like 492 or so. I'll go into more detail about this maybe on Sunday, but I see a little retracement and a bounce coming as the most likely possibility. Otherwise, the charts are still bullish. Apple may do the same thing. We pushed all the way up to about 227. We'll see if we kind of reject here. It might come down just a little bit before we try to continue to go higher. We could drop just a few points back down to 225, if not 222. Then look for a bounce. I think Apple is going to be completely fine. Now, Supermicro, if we do manage to hold above this trend line, I could be looking for the 860s for a little rebound. It's showing some life, but that depends if we could hold 831. For Coinbase is once again, in my personal opinion, trying to rebound. If we manage to hold above this trend line, I'll be looking for a nice push all the way up to about 230. So far, it favors a nice little bounce here. As long as we hold above this white trend line, I think that 230 is coming. We got to hold that just for confirmation. Amazon has a bullish wedge forming. As long as we hold above 200, 202 and 205 are coming, looks more bullish to me. Meta looks a bit more bullish after this very, very nice day with bullish news. I think that 545 is also a nice target, and eventually 550 if that breaks. For Microsoft, I think that 468 is going to come if we break through this. I think 470 is coming next. And then for Google, we're looking more bullish. I'll be looking at 492 if that breaks. 494 is our 194 is going to be next if we break 192. Sorry about that, guys. That's pretty much it for my video. I want to thank you all so much for listening. Please enjoy your weekend. I hope it's very plentiful and you guys have a lot of time to relax and do other things. I really hope for the best for everyone out there. Just know that Tesla is still looking very bullish. We dipped a bit only to get bought back up. So we may see something similar. We might kind of consolidate in this 250 area, kind of dip a bit, come back, consolidate for a bit before we go even higher. But nonetheless, the chart is still bullish. Even if we do see a little bit of a dip, it's going to get bought back up. Tesla is still very bullish, very strong. Good volume is still coming in. So I can't wait to see what the future holds. With that being said, have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys very soon tomorrow. Tesla to the moon because the long term is very bright, and peace out.